So welcome guys to your fourth call. I can hardly actually even believe it. I was just like counting the weeks earlier on and I was like, wow, this actually is the fourth call, which is amazing. And literally it feels like yesterday we were on this, like the first call. So really what I thought would be so useful, as I shared in the voice clip earlier, hopefully you guys have managed to listen to it. I know there's like only 3 of you on live, but I'm sure and I really hope because there will be holes in your learning. There'll be things that you're unclear on. There'll be things that we might not have an answer for because you just got to figure it out for yourself. But there will definitely be things that you've got questions on that we can definitely help you with. And obviously you've hopefully now moved through all of the units training in the Beachbody Champions page. You have been doing your program and you've been doing your personal development every day. So that's kind of, I suppose that's what I'm assuming that you've done all of that training. Don't worry if you haven't managed to finish it yet, but just really in terms of like the day-to-day really anything that you're doing, setting up boot camp, social media and messaging, invites, follow-ups, any questions that you have, really I just thought it'd be really good to just do a Q&A so that you guys can ask anything that you're unclear on, or ask us for any support in areas that you feel you need support or clarity on, so that then hopefully this recording is going to be useful for the other girls as well. So yeah, like, has anyone got any questions or queries or anything they're unclear on they want to ask or share?
I think for me, because I was doing Beachbody for so long, like I'm getting into the swing of things okay as a coach. But something I'm really struggling with is like people, I'm inviting lots of people, reaching out to people on social media, but it's the amount of people that are just ignoring me and like literally reading it and just like not responding at all. And I've got a lot of people, I know it's the time of year, saying things like, oh, I don't have any money, or so I'm finding that I'm just getting like knockback after knockback after knockback. Even people who I'm like super close to, like I reached out to my sister and she was like, I just can't afford it, Taylor, like it's not something I can afford at this time. So I was just wondering like what tips any of you had
I would
for
say,
people.
number one, that is normal. But if you were experiencing people saying, yeah, I'm keen, yeah, I'm keen, yeah, I'm keen, I'd be worried. I'd be like, what? That's normal. So I think it is getting used to that and just growing a thick skin and water off a duck's back. I get no all the time. I get not right now. I get take me off your list forever. I get I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I would say probably like 1 in 100 messages is like, yeah, I'd love more info. Yeah, sounds great. Like even if that. So just, I think the kind of the quicker, and obviously this just as time passes, you'll learn that really like a no is a not right now, and a no isn't the opposite of yes, which is obviously what we've all learned, and we you know, that's what we're taught from the day that we go to school or even the day we're born, like no and yes are opposites. But with what we do, a no is the road to yes. So I would strongly recommend the book Go for No for Network Marketers. I think it's by Ray Higdon, because it really teaches you that whole concept that actually your mission right now in particular should be to get as many flipping no's and not right nows as you can possibly get, because they aren't like, no, never contact me again. And also the people that ghost you or that you initially invite, again, it doesn't mean that they're not interested. And I suppose like just think about if someone's messaged you like maybe on social media and you've been busy and you haven't replied, but actually you're interested but you actually haven't replied. And I think that always really helps. I know when I was a newer coach, certainly if I didn't get a reply to an invite, they would go onto a follow-up list to follow up the next week, even if they hadn't replied. And I would literally just message them and say, hey, I hope you don't mind me reaching out, but was this of interest? And just quite a cut and dry short message, because what you're trying to do is just flush them out. Like, are they in or are they out? Because you've given them a really short little message, and it's not rude, it's not abrupt, it's just giving them an out, right? So is it of interest or not? And then you know whether or not to follow up in the future. And I would just say, like, again, with the, as I was saying on the, I don't know if you were on the team call yesterday, but on the team call, the beginning of December, you are going to get loads of people, like more so than ever. People are going to be saying, not right now, don't have the money, not right now. Obviously, we've had COVID as well. But I want you guys to rest assured and feel really confident that this does not mean that you're not going to be successful. And it does not mean that you aren't going to be able to help these people. That is a common knockback, whether or not you're in December or in a COVID year. All it means is that I promise you, if you continue to invite, you continue to be consistent in your social media, you continue to follow up, and you put them on your follow-up list for, you know, maybe like the 27th of December, and you just keep following up with them, the floodgates will open. So long as you said, like, you've been on your Beachbody journey for a while, which is great because you've built that consistency, and consistency equals trust. So just because they're saying, no, not right now, I don't have the money, genuinely, hand on heart, it does not mean you're not successful. Every single coach, whether your name's Ashley Molstad and you're number one in the network, or, you know, somebody else, or you, that is the path to success. And I know that's like, you kind of have to, you know, teach yourself all over again. And obviously you're learning something new. So the other thing that I would say is that, again, like, your new coaches, and often we don't really know how to reply to that, right? When someone says no, we're like, okay, don't worry. That's certainly what I always used to say, like, not to worry. But now I'll either say, like, would you mind me asking why? It's just always so useful to know for my own feedback, so that it just sounds polite. Or I just say, would you like me to reach out at a later date? And often they'll say yes. And then what I'll do is say, if I follow up in a couple of weeks or a month for my next one, does that sound good? So you're getting their permission. So then they go on your follow-up list and you've got their permission to follow them up and say, hey, my next group's coming up. I know you'd said you'd be interested in the next one. I just had to let you know. And of course, we've got Control Freak launching. So it's going to be an amazing follow-up for them, because if we're consistent now, whether or not, you know, and I was talking to Joe and Charlotte before you guys joined the call, like, they're finding it hard. I'm finding it hard. Like, honestly, I have been, nothing in my business has changed in terms of my consistency, my follow-ups, my energy. I have helped, by the skin of my teeth, 4 people, and we're in the middle of the month, and that is not my usual. So take confidence in that. Don't think, oh, well, Lizzie's got 4 people, I should have 4 people. No, take confidence in that. Like, my business is a full-time business, and that's what it's taking me. So let that give you confidence that it doesn't bear a reflection on you. And also, like any new job, you're learning. So it doesn't really matter what scripts we give you. Yes, they're helpful, but until you find your own way, with your own way of conversing with people, potentially in a platform you've never conversed with people before, like I certainly hadn't, the scripts I got sent by my coach, they just didn't click for me. And I look back at them and I'm like, oh, I could literally cringe. Like, they're so bad because they're so not me. So and that's why, like, as a coach, I always love to train people and say, here's like a guide, go fall on your face. Like, and that's like a really hard thing to say, but honestly, the more you're willing to fall on your face, the more that you'll be successful. And not only did, like, I was listening to Josh earlier, it's really interesting, you just mentioned this, listening to Josh Coates' call, and he was saying earlier on, like, just remember, like, he did a post, and actually it was a post I saw, and he said, like, failure, I failed loads, this is everything I failed at, and this is why I've been successful, because I failed on all of these things. And then earlier on I was listening to Ant Middleton's book, and he said, leaders are made if you tackle enough problems and tackle them well, you will inevitably become a leader. So remember, like, whether or not you want to lead a team or you want to lead a boot camp, it is all about failure and tackling problems and how you tackle them. And what you're tackling right now is problems in your business, but they're not. They're just, it's your attitude to how you overcome it. The other thing that I would just say is, and this is something for all of you guys to write down, actually, it's a really good training in YouTube. Ashley Molstad has got a Coach 101 on overcoming objections. So if you just write that down, she talks about chatting through the no and how to overcome the objections. And it's just a really good call. And I know as a new coach, that was something I watched. And it really helped me with, actually, someone said no. Okay, so the next thing is I need to ask them why, or I need to ask them when is a good time to reach back out, so that I can at least gauge whether or not they're interested. And I suppose psychologically, when I think about it now, I'm like, have I reached the point in this conversation where I've done everything I can to know that I've done everything for this person right now? Or have I got a situation where I'm just not sure, like, are they interested or not, because I haven't probed a bit more? I'm literally like, you know, I hate to compare it to this game. You know that game, like you like trying to hit the rat in the hole. Like I'm like, have I hit the rat? Have I got to the bottom? I'm like a squirrel, like searching for its nut. And that's like the weirdest analogy, but it really helps me. I'm like, have I got to the bottom? Do I really understand this person? And the more questions we can ask, and it is a fact-finding mission, like ask questions, and be really aware of that in your conversations. Am I asking questions or are they asking me questions? Because really, as the coach, as the professional, we should be on the fact-finding mission. If they're asking the questions, they have the control. So just like, even just do a self-audit on your conversations, because honestly, like you will all have had loads of questions asked of you, undoubtedly. Like that definitely happened to me as a new coach. So sorry, Taylor, that was like the longest winded answer.
That was helpful.
Hopefully it helped.
It did, thank you.
Charlotte, Joe, do you want to add anything?
Just, Taylor, just keep doing what you're doing, because your Instagram page, you're doing everything right. You've got a transformation post on there. You're doing your fitness videos every day. It just is difficult at the minute, but you don't let it bother you. Just keep going, because come January, when people are feeling like shit and they want another option, they're going to be weighing up all their options. And if you've got to the point with someone where you've told them how much it is, they're interested, and it's the money that's stopping them, and it's the money because it's so close to Christmas, come New Year, they'll be interested, and put them straight on your follow-up list. Don't let it dishearten you. You are doing brilliant. Like, honestly, I love watching your stories every day. You're fantastic, and just keep doing what you're doing, because we've got this. Like, it is just difficult circumstances anyways. Like, with this pandemic's been going on for 10 months, people are absolutely sick. Come January, there's going to people have started to get vaccinated, people are getting holidays booked, people are going to be seeing their family, people are starting to get a social life back. There's a glimmer of hope, and then ta-da, we're there with our fitness and our nutrition, and we're going to make you feel amazing. So just keep going, because we're all finding it hard, but we're all just keep going for now, but it'll pay off in January. So
I actually love this month. It's literally my favorite month, because I know every other girl out there has given up and forgotten and gone, do you know what, this is too hard. And I'm still there every single December, just going for it in the usual way that I am, because genuinely I love my job. I can't imagine not doing it. Like, I just love it. And I know that my nose and my success club is not a reflection of me or my ability or the number of people I'm going to help. It's just the season. And so I'm going to be that beacon of light when everyone else has turned theirs off, because they're like, oh, just so lackluster, I can't be bothered, this is too hard. So actually it gives you that like amazing feeling, and just trust me that I've been through several Decembers to Januaries. If you have had your light on in December and you've shown up through the hard, which, let's face it, it's Christmas time, it is harder for us, of course it is, we're human beings, we want to have a chill too, and it doesn't mean we can't have a chill, and I heavily encourage you all to have a chill, but still building in those hours to your business. The floodgates literally open in January, and everyone's like, wow, how did you hit Success Club 38? It's like, because I sowed my seeds months ago. Like, I was still showing up consistently. I hadn't turned my lights off. So, you know, if you can trust me in that excitement and that consistency, I promise you it's, you know, and this is, I genuinely believe this control freak, and I'm not just saying it, I really feel as though this program is going to be the biggest launch certainly I've ever seen at Beachbody. And that is going to propel our business not only like now, but for literally the next 6 months. So again, if we're lights on, we're sharing that door track, we're doing all those moves, everyone is going to be like, okay, I'm not sure about the gym anymore. The gym is starting to open, but what the heck is this girl doing? She's showing up, and look at her results, and look at that cool door track. I promise you, like I feel like it's such an exciting time for you guys as new coaches. Like, I really don't think there could be a better time. It should probably, like, whatever it's like, it's December, it's hard, and it is, it's always a hard month in terms of the people you're physically going to help, particularly before Christmas.
I think people just need to see us using that door track as well, because I think people are just looking at it thinking, what on earth is that? I think when people actually start seeing our daily workout videos using the door track, doing all of these full body moves using this track, honestly, I literally want to do the program like today.
Yeah, same.
I don't, because I'm literally like, and this is obviously like what I've learned from experience, is that the more that you tease them and the more that you talk about it, but you're not doing it, the more that people are watching your stories and they're like, well, you just fucking do the program already. But by the time you start, you've built this, like, people are like, what are you doing? And they're like all like watching you.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. It will be so worth it though.
I feel like I've been thinking of it from like my own perspective. If I think, how many times do I say no to people? You know, people approach you about things, and you know, most of the time the answer is no, because you're not interested or you're not in that place. And actually, I think, well, do you know what? If somebody had said this to me 3 years ago, I'd have been like, well, I'd be barking up the wrong tree. But
Yeah.
so, you know, so you know, sometimes people, you know, that's not people's bag, and that's fine. But I think it's just, you know, it hasn't actually put me off, to be honest. I feel like, well, do you know what? By the law of averages, at some point, someone's going to say yes.
Yeah.
And I hate to break it to you guys, but genuinely somebody, and this is like a known marketing statistic, because we're marketers at the end of the day, we're marketing essentially what they're going to do. Somebody needs to say no or have seen something up to 11 times before they decide to join you. And so what 80-90% of Beachbody coaches do, which is why only at the very top are people successful, like a small percentage, is their biggest failure is that they do not follow up enough times. They quit around follow up 4 or 5. And people, I will send sometimes, and I'll send you one when I get it. I will send, in fact, I've had a girl enroll today who I've been speaking to since July, and I'll screen record how many messages I've sent her, and people are always like absolutely flabbergasted at how many messages I will send somebody. If they're watching my stories, if they're liking my stuff, if they haven't told me to, I will follow up every month 10 times until they tell me to sling my hook. And often on like the 8th time, they're like, yeah, I'm interested, which you guys probably don't want to hear, but that is why this business is not going to be built in your first month. Yes, your warm market might be built in your first or second month, and I'm sure it will become January, but that trust, those cold invites, you sow the seeds now, you're going to reap what you sow a few months down the track.
I think it's important to think of it from our point of view as well, because like hearing you say that, like I remember I was watching Charles' stories for literally months before I even considered doing Beachbody. Like, oh, what's she doing? That looks all right. Oh no, I can't be bothered to do anything like that. And I remember, and I was watching for ages, and then it took a lot of persuading for it to get me on board, and then I fell in love with it straight away. So if you think about it from your own point of view and the journey you took to get there, you can understand other people as well.
And you know, I've just announced someone as Bootcamp of the Week. You know, Steph, who's in my little bod group. I think she ignored me 9 times. So she was voting on a couple of my polls on Facebook, so I knew she was interested. She was buying all this crap off Protein World and all this stuff, and I was like, what is she doing? Like, I know what we've got is better than that. And so I would message her, and I'd message her, and I put her into my flash sale that I did. I put her into a sneak peek into a boot camp. I sent her my YouTube video, read, no reply. I said, how is Steph? Let's get you over the line. And she went, how we then sign us up, just randomly out of the blue. And I was like, what? Like, just so random. I was like, I'm just going to pester you because I know you're going to like it. Like, I was so confident with her, and now she's absolutely loving it and thinking about doing Control Freak with us and stuff. And I just had a feeling with her. Some people you get a feeling for, and I just knew she would love it. So I was like,
sometimes it is like, Charlotte's so right, that last little message, you can see they're watching you, they've been interested, and maybe you've sent them a card. I will sometimes do that and be like, is it time to join me yet?
yeah.
And I'll just be really blunt, and then sometimes they're like, yeah, actually it is. I'm like, finally.
I want to send them a gift of like champagne popping, like, hallelujah, 7 months down the line.
You know, I had a coach a while back, and she used to send that emoji with the girl with her hand up going like, hey. Literally would follow up with just a hand, and I was like, I'm not sure that would go down too well with me if somebody
I'm going, hey, I'm still here. Hey.
Jo, did you want to add anything?
No, not really. Just everything that's been said, and definitely just trust the process. I mean, I've had a bit of a crap day today, to be honest with you. I'll be really honest. You know, I've got come off of the back of 2 amazing months and thought I'd just fly into December, and I haven't taken my foot off the pedal at all. I've literally been, I mean, I've sent 40 bootcamp invites and 10 coach invites today, and I've literally gone back through some follow-ups as well. And I had one lady just about to sign up, and then she's English, but she lives in Spain. And although she's got an English address, her PayPal's linked to Spain. And Beachbody wouldn't accept it, so she couldn't sign up. I was like, oh.
But don't, like, just as Jo said, like, trust the process. And Jo trusts the process, because I promise you, whatever you're not doing now that you would be doing on those numbers, you're just going to do the other side of Christmas, honestly. Yeah. Like, yes, I would say try to set aside, it's not as though we're all going to be super busy, I don't think, between that period, because we're all basically kind of locked from seeing anyone, but build in some time, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, like, I literally go hell for leather in like 4 hour blocks, and that is invites, follow-ups, invites, follow-ups, invites, follow-ups. Yeah. I know that the conversion at that period of the year is just insane.
What you're doing as well, like you're sowing seeds. So when you invite somebody, you're just giving them a little bit of information, they'll think about it. And if they've read it and not replied, still doesn't mean they haven't read it, and it's still in their back of their mind. And then when they watch your stories and they watch your grid, they're watching it with a slightly different view because you've invited them, so they're more interested in what you're sharing. So I feel like it's easier to convert once you've already invited them.
And how I'm gauging it is, like, although I'm not getting anyone say yes, or a few say sort of on the fence, but my story watchers and my likes are going up. So there are more people watching me, and there are, by the fact that I'm sending out all these extra invites and chasing people up. So, you know, I know it will come to fruition. It's just not quick enough for me.
And just, but that's it. Like, impatience in this business can be a real like death killer. And I'm like naturally really impatient. I think a lot of us are, but just, I would say trust the process. And I just want to share, like, I had loads of engagement on my reel. This is just like throwing it out there that things get tough and you just have to deal with it. Like, I did my reel over the weekend and I had over 88 comments, and I like replied to everyone. And because I've replied so many times on a comment, I've now not only been blocked from commenting, when I went to post, I didn't post any of my caption because I've been flagged by Instagram. So just bear in mind, like, you're going to have curveballs that are going to happen. This has happened to me before, not with this particular issue, but I have been like banned for like a day or two. And instead of panicking, I'm like, it will all be fine. I'm just going to trust the process. I'm just going to hold off on like liking people. So I can like people stuff, but I'm going to hold off for 24 hours and just trust the process. And honestly, that phrase, like, we should just have it slapped across our foreheads, because trusting the process really changes the energy. If you bring this like desperate energy into your business, guess what? No one is going to want to join you, because they can like literally smell it. They can smell it. So just enjoy it for you and share it and carry on as though you've got all the people in the world joining you, and they will. That's something I've definitely learned the hard way, because I would literally be a bit like how Jo explained that in the beginning. I was like, just sign up now. Like,
so I had a question. You just talked about like patience and stuff like that. I'm quite impatient as well.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what that line is. So I've had a few people, because again, just playing the numbers. So I've probably sent close to 200 invites at this point. And I've probably had about sort of 20 maybe saying, yeah, it sounds good, send me some more information. And that's when I give them some more info and I send them the video of you and Charlotte.
Yeah.
And then they go quiet. And I just don't, for me, I don't know what's the line of how long do I leave that with them before, because a lot of them are like, I haven't had a chance to look at the video because it is a video. So I'm like, okay, like some people, like it's easy just to read a message. But I don't know where like the sort of follow-up line is with that. Do I literally send it and then like 10 minutes later to be like, oh, what do you think? To make sure they're still on it? Or
I leave
give them a day
hours.
Or, pardon?
I leave it 24 hours when I'm sent it.
24 or 48. And then just like, hey, any questions about the videos? Anything in the videos you're not unsure about? Something like that.
Okay.
And then if they haven't watched it, just like, oh, okay, well, I'll come back to you in a couple of days. Is that all right? Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank
Then
you.
they're held to it. Yeah.
Another thing is that sometimes I ask, would they rather have voice clips or watch a video? And if they say they would rather watch the video, they're more likely to watch it. Whereas sometimes people would just prefer a couple of minutes on a voice clip, get something back, a couple of more minutes on a voice clip, get something back, like rather than having a full video. So I sometimes ask, like when they say, can I have some more info? I say, great. Are you okay for me to send you some voice notes, or would you prefer to watch a YouTube video which explains everything? And see what they say. It depends what you're more comfortable with as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've been sending them a voice note with like an overview, and then I'll say, I'm going to send you a video as well, which has got some visuals, so you can see what that actually looks like of what I just talked about.
Yeah.
So that's how I've personally been doing it. So they at least get the overview in the voice note if they don't want to obviously watch the video, but.
Or next step, you could, and I can send this on to you, like you could send them, like if you voice clip the basic overview and you've told them the price, and this is something I know Charlotte does as well, and it's actually something that Charlotte devised, that my coach Mackenzie does it, but I'd never done it, and then Charlotte was like, I'm having real success with it. What she will do, and what I haven't been doing so much recently, to be perfectly honest, because other stuff's working for me, is then say, oh, if I email across all the info I've just explained, do you want to take a look? So I can send that to you. If you can just ping me your email whilst we're on, then I'll just ping it to you when we're done. And then the email basically says, like, if this sounds good, let me know if you want me to email across package options. And then, like, this is a phrase you should write down. This is a phrase Josh talks about, but it's so true with what we do. An object in motion stays in motion. An object in motion stays in motion. So if you've got them and you've got a conversation, keep that conversation going. So you send them the details, then you say, like, if this sounds good, do you want the package options? And then they'll say yes, and then you're like, great, okay, these are the package options, which one do you want? And often you find that the transaction it's just a lot more fluid. So I would say, if you're voice clipping, if it was me, and I know Charlotte does as well, she might add something, I would then ask them if they want it all in writing so they can take a look, get their email and send it across.
That's literally what I do. Like, if they say, like, I invite them, they say, yeah, that sounds good, can I have some more info? Great. Are you okay if I send you a voice clip? Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I send them 1 to 2 voice clips, if that, no longer than 2 minutes, going into, at the time, MBF, at the minute, Control Freak, going into what Control Freak is and what our community is. And then if that sounds good, because they're the main things for me, is the community and this Control Freak. So then if they say, yeah, that sounds really good, can I have some more info? They tend to then ask, how much is it? Then I go through everything they get in the challenge pack. So the Shakeology Superfoods, the year's supply to Beachbody, like, I don't call it Beachbody, but a year's supply to the online, like, library of workouts, the accessory bundle, access into my community and fitness like group, blah blah blah, all of this for an upfront payment of $190 or whatever, $160 when I was doing MBF. And then they say, right, okay, and then I say, if you send me an email, I'll send you a summary of all of that I've just said, because it is a lot of information. Like, they don't know what superfoods is, they don't know what the nutrition plan is, and they're just hearing all of this and then hearing a price. So I break it down for them on an email, and I say, there's 3 aspects to your package: your fitness, your nutrition, your accountability. Your fitness, we talk about Control Freak, all your accessories, access to 1,800 at-home online workouts, varying from this, and this. And then the nutrition, go into Ultimate Portion Fix, go into the products, go into Shakeology, say you get a free 30-day supply. And then the accountability, which is all about the community and all about the bod group, logging your workouts, having me there, having the girls there. And it sort of like breaks it down into 3 simple bits for them, because when at your voice clip, it just, I think if they don't know what we're talking about, it can come across as a bit overwhelming. So I just ask for their email, and now I've actually got like 85 email addresses, and I've only been doing that for about 3 months. So it's working really well for me.
And that point about the email addresses as well is a massive one. I asked my virtual assistant to tell me how many email addresses I got, and bear in mind, like, I honestly, guys, haven't really been focusing on email addresses, but when we've got a launch or email details, or I've got a sample workout, I'll always get their email address. She said, you've got 2,358 emails on subscribers. I was like, oh, I couldn't believe it. And no, but this is the thing, guys, like as you build your business, this is how you will follow up. Like they get a weekly newsletter, my customers and coaches do, but you share a bit about you share a bit about, and you don't need to do this now, but just for future reference, those email addresses are what build your business. And bear in mind, like social media platforms can be really erratic, particularly Instagram can lock you out, can do all sorts. If you're building a bank of email addresses, there's no way that you've lost those people. So it's another completely separate thing, but I would just say start building your database. There's never a time that's too soon. And I definitely didn't start in my first 6 months. I didn't have any. Joe, you have a really good way of getting people over the line as well. So do you want to share yours? Because I know yours is different, but I think it'll be useful to share.
Yeah, I mean, I send for boot campers, I send out your video.
Yeah.
And then I literally go back like 24, 48 hours later, like I just said, and ask them if they've got any questions about anything in the video. And then obviously if they haven't watched it, I lock in a date to get back to them. And then if they say, yeah, they want some more information, I do the same. I just voice clip them a little summary and do exactly the same. Just ask for an email and send it over by email. And that's pretty much it. And then I'll just follow it up literally probably a few hours later, just checking that your email arrived okay. And then just try and lock in a date to go back and talk to them again. But to be honest with you, I struggle to sign up boot campers, really. Most of my boot campers they've come to me, if I'm really honest. For me, I'm more target coaches, in which case it's completely different for me.
Yeah. And that's the same for me. Like I've enrolled 2 working coaches the past 3 days, and that's off the sneak peek and then them seeing the sneak peek and wanting to get enrolled. And I think if you look at anybody in our team right now that's really good and strong at converting people to boot campers, it's Charlotte. She's really, really good at doing it. But you'll see, like if you look, and you know, there's no right or wrong, and you guys are finding your feet right now. And I would just say, like as coaches, it's better initially to lead with the boot camp. But I'll be honest, I was never strong Success Club girl on just boot camps, not like how Charlotte was. I really started to see those numbers when it was with the coaching. And I think you've just got a gut feel, guys, like what feels most comfortable and best for you right now, what excites you most. If you watch Charlotte, her excitement is absolutely with the programs and doing, you know, everything to do with that. And it's not to say Joe and I aren't passionate about it, but I think we just, I don't know, maybe we
don't have that much energy.
areas. Yeah, that too. But you know, and there's no right or wrong, as you can see. Like we're all successful, we're all doing well. So you know, there's no straightforward answer, and you guys probably might not even know that answer yet. But just be aware of that. And I would always say just have an open mind to stuff. And we will do a sneak peek into coaching at the end of December. That's when we will be doing it. So we will giving you guys that heads up. So if you have got potential people that you think would be great coaches, all you're going to do is we'll get you that invite. And it is, I think, pretty much everyone can use a similar generic invite or tailor it a bit. You're just going to invite them. If they say they want to learn more, you say, great, info session. And then that's all you need to share. And that's what I loved as a new coach, because I was like, oh great, I don't even have to like try and explain to them like prices and stuff. I just dump them in this group and follow up with them afterwards. So just so you guys know, from a kind of coach perspective, you've got people that might want to be coaches, that's when that's going to fall. And that's, we've done it then, because it tends to be, again, a really good time of year to do it. People thinking about a new year, a new start. Do they want to do their job? Do they want to do something on the side? It tends to be a really good time to do it. Yes, just build that into your marketing calendar in terms of like inviting and things. Any other questions? These are all really good questions that have had like really long-winded answers, but hopefully they've been helpful.
I think I've learned this week a lesson on the power of hashtags. Not directly through this. My daughter's, she's funny, she's a model, and she knows no limits. She doesn't care. She'd be an amazing coach because she's got the right attitude, but her lifestyle's shocking. She lives on Nando's and chocolate and hates exercise. But she's got the right attitude, and so she bought a set of Kim Kardashian skins, photographed herself on it, hashtagged Kim Kardashian's business page. Next day she wakes up with about 1 million messages going, what are you doing on Kim Kardashian's business page? And there she is, she's got hashtagged on that, and she's got enough work probably for the next year out of that. And
Wow.
she doesn't limit herself. She goes, oh, I'll just go work Kim Kardashian then, as she do. And I just thought, that's really that's the attitude to have, isn't it? Just shoot for stars.
I think you've just got to always remain true to who you are, and like with your photographs and with your captions, like making sure it's a sharp photo and that the caption is true to who you are, and it's not just, like as a newer coach, for sure I got my inspiration from other coaches, but I would always try and write something that was true to who I was. And obviously, like, your daughter's working in a completely different environment, there are like hashtags like that will blow up. TikTok is something else you guys to consider. I've just created a TikTok account. I know, like, there's a coach in my elite push group who has had 100,000 views on one of her TikToks, which is literally just making overnight oats. So she didn't do that like from the click of her fingers, but she gets a lot of views on TikTok. So it's a way to drive people through into Instagram, which is something that I'm getting to now. So like, guys, like, feel the fear, do it anyway. Don't wait for like me or someone else to say, hey, this is how you do TikTok. Like, go figure it out. I mean, it's a platform that terrifies me because I've got no idea how to do it, but I will figure it out. So it's just that kind of attitude with Instagram as well. I'll just give it a try and see what happens. Does it stick? No? Okay.
I've still not got my head around reels. I just make it up. I've got this girl on Instagram and she's done a reel and there's 4 of her. And all 4 of them are sitting there like online shopping and all putting different outfits on, and one's walking away and one's coming in. And I'm looking at it going, how? Like, I comment on it saying, how can you do this? Like, can you imagine? And she's like, oh yeah, just practice. I'm like, practice? Like, it was magic. But I was watching Harry Potter. Absolutely, I will get it. I will get it. I might be 6 months too late, but I will get it.
And reels, like my reels engagement on that reel I just did at the weekend was like over 250 likes. And as I said, like over 100 comments, to which I tried to reply, which has now got me blocked because it's not a usual number of comments, right? So, which is annoying, but I know it'll be like a temporary ban. It's just flagged me because they're like, this girl's written too many comments. But it's just an indication of the fact that blows your Instagram up. It really, really does. So getting on reels and just thinking of like, right, what I feel like semi-comfortable doing. Like for me, like I love to do like stupid dances. Like that's just me. Like I used to love going into a club and dancing like an idiot. That's just the kind of person I am. Or, like I'm into fashion and outfits and stuff like that. You're not going to see me making overnight oats because honestly, I'd rather poke my own eyeballs out. But if that's your jam, then go for it, because people need nutrition advice. I'm just really stubborn.
I think that I've found as well on mine, I mean, mine's like brand new. I don't have that many followers at all, but like I found, and I don't know why, but I found it like super easy to be like really truthful about things. And I found I've done like 2 transformation photos, and like I didn't realize myself how much weight I'd lost until I actually saw these photos side by side. But those like hashtags and things have brought in like a lot of people, and people are finding me through these hashtags and then following me. So I'm finding that like for me, being like totally like honest is getting like me, like I would say like quite a lot of respect from people. Like people are like, oh wow, like you're being like true, like brutally honest about how you feel about your body and yourself. And I feel like that's drawn people in for me, because I don't know how to make things look, amazing. Like I'm still learning all of that. But
that's the point. It's a journey, and people need to be able to relate to you being a real person. And I'll tell you, like the posts of mine that get most engagement are, for me, like, yeah, my business, like I've worked out how to do stuff. Like my page, I know it looks crisp, it looks pristine, and that presents its own problems sometimes. But the way that I bring people back is I say, this was me then, this is me now. Like these were my struggles, this is how I felt. And like genuinely, I hated myself for 10 years. I'm like, and that's the truth. And people literally like, they lap it up because they're like, oh, she did actually have some real struggles and she's worked through them. So always like, you know, like tomorrow is my birthday and my mum's not here, and she always massively celebrates my birthday, and honestly it's a really hard day. And I went on just before this call and said, like, I'm really not looking forward to tomorrow, which it might be really strange to you guys because it's my birthday, but I feel this massive social pressure to be really happy, and I just want to share that it's going to be really tough for me. That kind of stuff is building trust, because people are like, she's not just saying it's all good, it's all good, it's all good. And I am genuinely like pretty positive as a result of coaching, like hand on heart, that's me being truthful and real. When I'm happy, I'm genuinely happy, but also letting people in like on your struggles and sharing things that are a struggle for you, because again, like as you found, Taylor, you're finding your people is where the magic happens. You know, I've got quite a lot of people on the team who've lost a parent, honestly, and that's because somewhere along the way either they've felt it with my energy, or they've seen me share it, because I do share it sometimes. So, you know, but from all manner of different struggles, we've all got, it's not just one struggle that defines us or one vulnerability that defines us. And I think the more that you can feel comfortable opening up, geez, you are going to blow the bloody doors off your business, because people, that's what people want to see. They want to see a person with real struggles that's working through them and is willing to share them. So I love what you've shared, because you will be really successful with that strategy. And it's not easy for a lot of people. It certainly wasn't easy for me in the beginning. I didn't even share my family or anything, and it was really hard. And I think if you are finding the ability to be honest and open and share already, that's unbelievable, honestly, because I definitely wasn't in that place when I started.
That's what I've had the most of this last week. So many people going, oh, you've been really inspiring me. And you just would have no idea that was going on unless you'd actually, you know, talk to them. Yeah, it's been a bit of an eye-opener.
And it is for me, like even now, like 2.5 years down the track, I'll share something on a post and someone will say, Izzy, don't ever stop being you. And people sometimes don't say that, or they might not say it, but they might be thinking it, but they might not say it out loud. And someone says something like that, and I'm like, that's what this business is all about. Yeah, like there's amazing visions that we can work towards, but ultimately at the core, you're changing people's lives just by being there, even if they haven't purchased a challenge pack. For me, that difference I'm making to that person's life just by being me and showing up every day, that's worth so much more. And it honestly is, like when you start really helping people and you get them transformations, it is just the most amazing feeling. It really, really is. Has anyone got anything? Francesca, have you got any questions or anything? You're quite quiet for you. Not many questions from you today.
No, I know. It's because I ask them to Izzy like constantly. I'm just like, Izzy, I've got this person. I need help.
Fine.
No, I think for me, I think it's just that how hard to push people really, and just how to kind of deal with those conversations, because that still feels really new to me. Like I'm getting no's, but I'm getting reasons for no's. I'm not just getting no thanks. I'm getting you know, not right now, but in the new year definitely reach out, or you know, I can't afford that right now, but it looks amazing, you know, or you know, I'm really busy this time of year. Like I've got quite a few friends who are like nurses and stuff like that. I have used Charlotte as an example and said, we've got an A&E nurse and she manages to find time, sort of thing. But it's just how hard to push those people, because they're all being polite, and none of them are saying, you know, especially when they're giving that objection, it's not right now, it's not no, it's just not right now. And like it depends on the person. Some people I'm no worries, like, you know, are you happy for me to reach out again in the new year? And they're like, well, they can't often suggest it themselves. They're like, oh, but if you do one in the new year, like, and I'm like, are you happy for me to put you on the shortlist? And they're like, yeah.
So if it was me, and this is what I do all the time, and like I know Charlotte and Joe do it as well, I'll publicly overcome that objection. Right, everyone thinks they're going to wait till the new year. Right, I'm going to talk, and I'm not going to pretend that I'm talking at them, but I'm just going to happen to talk about it every day until Control Freak starts, about how everybody is literally going to have the January blues. The wheels will have fallen off. They're going to be feeling like crap. And actually, this is an amazing opportunity to not have the wheels fall off and to start the new year feeling amazing, when we're going to have the January blues anyway. And if you start peppercorning that kind of message, I promise you there'll be some of those girls that are like, yeah, but you can contact me in January. And they'll be like, what was that thing you were talking about?
I think I've done it with a couple of posts, but I don't think I've done it enough.
Do it in your stories every day.
Every day.
30 seconds. And I promise you, like, it doesn't have to be like literally, you know, verbatim repeating yourself day by day, because that's going to be boring. But there were a couple of quotes actually I shared today, and I'm convinced that's why I got one of my girls over the line. I shared, you got to love the struggle as much as the reward. So many people want the peak but hate climbing. You want the success but don't want the struggle. See, that's the problem. People want to grow but don't want to go through the growing pains. So that was one. And then the next one was,
I screenshot that one. I was like, I'm going to use that.
Yes. So the next one was, your first workout will be bad. Your first podcast will be bad. Your first video will be bad. Your first speech will be bad. Your first article will be bad. But you can't make your 100th without making your first. So put your ego aside and start. And literally, I've had a girl on the fence of coaching. Like, I swear she must have seen those. And she's like, oh yeah, cool, I'm good to go. And like the past like 4 days, she's been like, yeah, maybe, what's this charge? What's that charge? And all of a sudden she's ready. And I feel like, yeah, I've like read your mind. You've read those quotes and I've got you over the line. So just, I would say that, because I do feel like this season of the year is hard, honestly, for trying to push people on it, because ultimately, as we've just said, like, Christmas is coming up. People are in, generally, I hate to say it, a really bad mood. We've had an absolutely shit year. We're all knackered. And I think if we do push people in the mood that we're experiencing, I think we risk.
That's what it is for me. I just don't want to isolate them by pushing them too hard, especially when they're not giving me an outright no, like, don't talk to me ever again. They're leaving the door open. It's just how hard to push, really. And I'm also, in
another season, I would push them a bit harder.
Okay.
Because there's nothing like, it's not like, you know, there's no other time of the year where we've got Christmas and a New Year and we're all feeling knackered, but we really do at the moment. So for me, honestly, if somebody comes up with that, as I said, like, I will just be publicly overcoming that objection.
Okay.
If they happen to join me along the line, great. Otherwise, I'll be like, great, okay, cool, do you want me to reach out?
Also, if they're like saying that they want to get started in January, don't forget, like, because I had this block today, I was thinking, we've only got till like Christmas and then it's it. But of course, you've got that week between Christmas and New Year. So if they want to start in January, and don't forget, everyone's got people that are employed have got another payday at the end of December. So, and they can't use the excuse of Christmas presents because, that you've got that week where, like, right, you want to get started in January.
Let's get you all set up so you've got all your bits ready for the first.
Yeah, ready to go, sort of thing. So that's what I'm going to be. I've got a list here of people that have given me the January knockoff. So I'm just like, no worries. So they're all getting it just off.
Yeah, exactly as Joe said. Like, basically, anyone that says January to me, they're not contacted in January. They're going to be contacted on the 26th of December. Like, my follow-ups, 26th, 27th, 28th, I'm going to be busy.
Put your mince pie down.
I know, we're going to be doing like
well, like, people get money for Christmas, so like, it's what they would.
I've had a couple of girls say, that's what I'm going to ask for money for Christmas. I'm going to ask, because I didn't know what to get for Christmas. I'm going to ask my family for the money for this and things like that. So I'm just making a really long list.
And I follow up with you on, say, the 26th. Lock in the date, get their permission, because when you lock that date in, psychologically, they've locked it in. You've kind of got a bit of a monetary mental commitment, because they're like, right, on the 26th, you're going to contact me, so I better make sure. And also, they can't bark at you because you've got their permission.
They agreed to it.
Yeah, so I would, that absolutely works, like setting up a date to follow up. Can I follow up with you and see if you're going to join me on this date? Yeah, great.
Okay.
Cool. You got permission to be like, good, we're ready to go. You said you're ready to go. Cool. Let's go.
Okay.
Or even like get them the cart sent out. Do you want me to send the cart out now? And then you're good to go on that date. I did that with a girl the other week and that works quite well.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can iron out any queries they might have on the cart when you send it. Cool. Well, I feel like hopefully this has been a useful call for you guys. I even learned.
Yeah, definitely.
Other guys.
Gemma's messaged me. She said, can you obviously send the recording to her, because she's really gutted that she can't be here. I know that you're probably going to anyway, but she just said, oh, can I fill her in on anything she's missed? So I've written some notes, but if you could send that to her, that'd be ideal.
I'll send it. Because it's about 50 minutes, it's whether or not it saves to my computer to load before the morning or not. If it loads in time, then it'll be on YouTube, otherwise it'll be in the morning. But yeah, of course. I'm going to stop recording.